Unless they had a big increase in their labor rates or
Yeah,
something like that.
parts increase, and it wouldn't be
And
nothing
you
less.
budgeted for it already?
Yes.
We know that's coming.
Would you feel, ask Mr. Backbehind, would you feel more secure that we need to wait on the price figure from you first before we progress or proceed?
John, you're gonna get some bids on, try to get something together on that out there, or cost them much?
Clean on the building? What we talking about?
This mold issue,
deals, You know, I mean, right now, I mean, we've gotta figure out where we're gonna put John and David, and the deal that we were gonna do is kind of fell through for right now.
I don't wanna not do it, I just
understand.
don't wanna, I wanna keep our cash flow.
Like I said, I don't think we're under, a 2 week or a month or any time frame.
I would feel much better if we had an answer as far as what your price is looking at. Since we don't have a deadline to your issue.
This is
It's up to y'all's
yeah, this
decision,
is kind of come up, kind of out of the blue. It's, the roof's leaking on it. I mean, there's water running down the wall, and it's just.
We had some money, we've got some monies that we budgeted for the building maintenance, but this come up unexpected, but, you know, we're gonna try to see if we can.
I understand it's budgeted, but that doesn't mean we got that.
That's what I mean.
The cash flow, we gotta keep cash flow, maintain it.
So let's revisit that in a month,
I feel much better about that.
so bring that up,
Or at least until we get an answer on the building.
yes, well, let's just say the first meeting for October.
Okay.
Bring that back up.
Is that okay with the rest of the council?
Okay, Mr. Carter.
No problem, as long as it keeps running.
Chief, you can still proceed with some of the tear out or whatever you got.
Yes, and I planned on getting some, cost estimates on that roof stuff, bringing them back, council meeting, so you previously been authorized, go ahead and do some bidding on that, so that project, so I'll try to get that done and bring them back for you.
And it won't be that much to go ahead and do that with the other one. I mean, it's small,
Right.
so.
And all
Biggest thing
bid
is
we
getting
can
the mold.
Accept or reject, so, you know.
The cleanup on the mold deal is the biggest issue.
Right.
How well we can get that out of there.
And we're just in our first quarter of this budget year. So although we budgeted, all that money has not came in just for that budget, just yet.
Right.
Well, Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
the only, I guess, condition on that is that price is good as long as the machine's running. If the motor would go down or the transmission would go down, that quote won't be good.
Okay. We'll be easy with it.
I understand.
Park it right now.
I mean, while we're talking on that, you just asked for, but I just wanted to bring that up, that's.
Use the camouflage one. All right. Anything else, Mr. Carter? Okay.
For miscellaneous.
Okay. Will you stick that on the agenda for 1 month now? And under old business, please. Approval of city's abstracts of accounts payable for the month of August. Welcome a motion at any time.
So moved.
A second.
Second.
Discussion, changes, questions. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Time for miscellaneous. Mr. Carter.
Mayor Crafton is a good source of information for me. He told me about a auction that's coming up over in Humboldt, Tennessee on Thursday. It's a liquidation of a asphalt paving company. They've got a couple of items that would be very beneficial to the street department for our work. One of them is a skid steer, is a proper name for it. Most everybody is familiar with it. It's a Bobcat loader. It's a little one with 2 wheels close together and got the bucket in front. We've been talking about wanting to try to budget for one of these for quite a while, and in fact, we even talked about it this year. The contractor that did our intersections used one on Washington and Wiggs, and with a hydraulic breaker, it's a very big point that driven down through the concrete. It broke that whole intersection up and an hour and a half, but that wasn't constant work. It was probably less than an hour of actual work. With a jackhammer and 3 good guys on it, we're talking about 3-4 hours worth of work. Breaking it up in pieces where the backhoe can use the back end bucket and pick up great big pieces. They used the front end of the bucket on the backhoe and loaded it in small pieces very easily. That's one of the attachments for it. Another one would be the asphalt grinder. If you all remember the square, how many of those bumps had around the square on the asphalt before they overlaid it? They ground those down. We've got quite a few bumps around town that could be used on. You can put post hole diggers on them, you can put brooms on them. There's many, many, many attachments for this. The skid steer that's gonna be for sale is a 2007 Caterpillar. I think it'll go for quite a bit of money, but the mayor and I talked, and I would like to ask if you all consider giving me an up-to price on this. They're talking about it going probably between $25,000 and $30,000. Looking to try to get a $18,000, $19,000 up to in case somebody's not there to bid on it. You know, if we can steal it. This is the second. There's only one size larger that Caterpillar makes, which is probably a little bit bigger machine than what we need, but it's got the hydraulic adapters to it, high pressure hydraulics to it that you need. You just can't go get a regular one and put all these attachments on it. Didn't know if there was any interest in sending us over there to look at it, and if it does happen to go for a steal, that we would be in position to buy it or not.
Would that be taking out Caterpillar food?
They had some other items.
Yes, sir.
Property.
They had a roller, small roller, ride-on roller. I understand today that it was taken off the bidding. I didn't hear that from the auction company, but someone else was over there. They've also got walk-behind paint stripers. Stripes that were put on the square after it was overlaid was done by a gentleman that has a similar machine. His is a ride-on, but this would be a walk-behind. We paint a lot of the crosswalks around town at the swimming pool and the hospital and the schools and things like this. Sooner or later, we're gonna need to do stripes downtown and parking down there here in the city hall. When we get the hiking and biking trail, it's included in that contract, but the first time, but it'll need upgrades. Cut our labor 10 times with one of these walk-behind machines, stuff like that. They sell new for $4,500. I was gonna ask you for like $1,900 or $2,000 to buy it half price or less if we think it's in good shape over there.
So how much money do you need authorization? You want up to 20,000 for the,
Skid steer and then 2,000 for the other, yes.
So 22 total, you're talking.
Yeah.
so moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That's easy enough.
And, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna buy them if they're not in good shape, and, you know, unless they're steel, you know.
Or just take it out of your paper.
Can I split that into 2 checks?
All right, anything else miscellaneous?
I've got 2 or 3 things, Mayor.
Wonderful.
First of all, what's the status of the Humane Department Committee? Are you gonna have one, or you gonna leave one of the folks?
You're gonna need to get with the city attorney and find out what you're warning.
Tell me what you want. I mean, nobody's told me what they want.
You said we needed an ordinance to have another committee.
Yes.
No, okay.
So we're talking about making it a separate departmental unit. That's what you're
No.
wanting to do.
I don't know what you all, council wants to do.
I'm trying to just have a dedicated committee that could deal with problems and issues there. if it's gonna create too much of that, then the police committee needs to get busy and take care of some issues out there. If we don't have, that's all I'm saying.
I mean, what problem, I guess maybe it's something we need to discuss later, but I mean, I've not been made aware of any kind of problems out there, so.
Well, it's not necessarily, well, yeah, it's a problem. The chief wants to put a fence around, you know, the whole compound area out there, which I don't think we need. We just.
We turned that down.
Already turned it down, yeah, we already.
But also, I took the initiative to get some concrete poured, so they could put a building on it that'd been donated by the people, but, you know, I didn't hear anybody in the police committee say, hey, we need to pour some concrete so we can put this building in. I took further initiative and asked the street department to move one of the other buildings on that, up on that skid or on that slab also. But if they're not gonna,
I'd have to admit, so that's what you're talking about, it's the first time I've heard of it.
well,
I'm on the, I know I've been out for a month, but I'm sitting here looking at the other two committee members, and it's new to me.
well, let me ask you this then, how many times have you been to the dog pound?
I haven't been out.
Okay.
I don't go to the dog pound either, and that's one of the reasons I probably wouldn't be too hurt if we did have a separate committee, 'cause I'm not sure but I mean, I wouldn't wanna change it. We're not talking about a whole separate department, we're just having a committee and over the animal control to respond if people want to do that, might not be a bad thing.
Or if we could do it real simple, just provide a list of what needs to be done.
Well, I'm not, we got 3 people on that committee that hadn't even been there.
Okay? So where's the chief? Where, I mean, why have he is running?
I mean, somebody's gotta pull it all together. Who's chairman of the police committee?
All right,
Larry?
Okay,
All right.
here's the thing, nobody has said I need to come out there and look at anything. That's what I'm getting, I've kind of caught blindsided here, nobody said, hey, we need to look at something.
I believe you.
We've not.
You should take the initiative to do that.
Well, it's like this, I'm in the, whatever, the fire committee too, but, you know, Don tells me when there's problems and we have a meeting, so.
Yes.
I mean, I think, but again, I wouldn't be terribly opposed, or maybe we just need to add another person to the animal control committee that we already have, would that, can we do that?
I would say if it,
Yes,
if
there
it,
is an animal control committee, it's just that with the police committee, look on your list.
oh, the police committee's in charge of it.
Is also
The
the animal
panel.
control committee.
I would say that the chief, wherever you're getting this information from, that whether it's have to provide to the committee some of their grievances they have, so they
Well,
can
I'm
address it.
not saying it's agreement, I'm saying there's things that need to be done, that, you know.
And I think in all fairness to the police committee, that needs to be brought to our attention so we can address it.
Well, then I suggest that the police committee have a meeting with the humane officer to determine what needs to be done out there.
I think it should
We
be,
can do
the
that.
chief should
I'm
be,
open to that. I mean,
yeah, I
that's
mean, the
fine.
chief needs to be a part of that, that's their
Yeah.
supervisor. You know,
Well,
but again, that's where the chief should say, hey, I need this done out here at the dog pound. And that's,
That's basically as simple as that, until we know about it, we really can't do anything about it.
Okay.
It's kinda like the fence deal. The fence deal was brought up months ago and we voted it down.
Yes,
Yeah.
because I said at that time we didn't need it. But we have all this fencing now that could be put to use out there if they had the committee that went and looked at it and see how it could be utilized to improve the facility as it is.
But you see what they're saying though, Roger, is it,
I know.
if they don't know, I mean, somebody's gotta tell them what's going on. John comes to me
I'm not
regularly on a
telling
weekly
anything
basis.
else. All right, I'm not gonna bring up the humane department again. It's out of my hand. It's in the police committee's hands. And I'm saying right now, the police committee has got some things to do.
what's next on your list?
I'd like us to reconsider the police department overtime pay in lieu of the $35 an hour contract price that we get for 2 officers on specific jobs or whatever else. Mainly if you talk to your police officers, most of them rely heavily on being able to do off-duty police department work. Security for banks, for Walmart, for everything in there. With the way they've got it right now, at charging those businesses $35 an hour to utilize our police officers, they're not getting the work. And so a lot of our officers are losing anywhere from $4,000 to $6,000 a year in salaries. And you multiply that by the number of officers, that's a lot of money. And so, you know, initially it sounded like a really good plan when the school said we need 2 officers here or 12 officers here or whatever else, and we said, well, we'll give you 2 because that's what the highway patrol and that's what the county's gonna do. But, when I look back at what it's doing to our police officers, and the needed income that they have, or need for additional income because we don't pay them enough up front. But is that, I think we ought to rescind that rule and allow them to do after-hour work in uniform or whatever else is needed.
Well, I understood that, the way I understood it, that was, the $35 an hour was when they were asked to do, like at,
Special events.
special functions. You know,
Well,
Now, they can't be in I think, the discussion was they cannot be in uniform and not go through the $35 program.
well, I had a,
Represent the city or such.
They had to be in plain clothes to do that.
I had a discussion with Chief, I don't know where he is right now, but last week, and with the upcoming fair, all right? Now, the fair board itself does not contract with individual officers. We subbed it out for a number of years. I can't think.
Bud Brooks.
Bud Brooks from Zenith headed up, we gave him the contract, all right? And so then he hired off-duty police officers, deputy sheriffs, and whatever else to provide security at the Delta Fair. And they came in uniform and so on. Well, what I told Chief last week, that as a member of the fair board, we're not gonna pay off-duty police officers $35 an hour. And I think Tony Smith is now chairing that project, and he can't afford to pay him $35 an hour either. It would just be ludicrous for us to even try to get that much. Or the same thing would apply, I suppose, for the parade route. When we got every available officer, even from every deputy sheriff and highway patrolman up and down this street, to provide the necessary safety, and, you know, if he wants to, chief wants to carry that far, he'd say, okay, all those guys gotta have $35 an hour too. So,
Wouldn't they just be working overtime? I mean, that's a sort
no,
of city.
but he don't want them to work overtime
In
either.
that, when you talk to him, find out, but I'm not sure that the freight details are included in that $35.
It won't be. It don't need to be.
It
It's,
doesn't need to be.
it's
I mean, all
protection of
the
public. We
agreement
got
for it.
several thousand on the street.
Yeah.
That's gonna be city
So,
function.
kind of the same thing we get the fair, I mean, because people are out in the streets and.
Well, we vote to close the streets off, we gotta have someone to close the street. So, when we vote to do that,
Anyway,
Manpower.
I just like us to revisit that ordinance there and whatever, because right now, if you talk to the police officers individually, that, they're missing out on additional revenue, personal revenue, by not being able to go somewhere else and work.
well, I agree with you. I agree with you. I think it's something that you all need to,
We'll be glad to talk to him, I mean, it's what he's saying, I mean, is that what you're hearing too?
That's what I'm hearing.
Okay. Then we need to address that.
try something out. If it don't work, you try something else, or go back, you know? It's-
Well, but could we kind of hear a little bit more, maybe, like actual figures and, you know, why they lost out? I mean, where they lost out? I hear what, you know, you're saying they might be going to.
Well,
they're-
because the officers that worked at Walmart, they worked in uniform.
And so
okay.
Walmart's not wanting to hire them.
I'm not gonna pay them $35 an hour.
$35 an hour, no.
Like you said, if they represent the city, it's $35 an hour, and they can't wear the uniform and not represent the city.
So maybe we should lower the rate.
Why don't the police committee take a look at that?
How does that, affect the police department, as far as liability wise, if they're,
Still, the officers out there, there's limited liability. I don't know that, yeah, they're police officers 24 hours a day.
But we're still covered in the city if they do have to get to an incident, or tables aren't even win just because they're wasn't charged.
Anyway, that, if you will, let's give it some thought, some serious thought, and think about our officers and their financial needs.
I agree with you. I agree with that.
The last thing we want to do is hurt them, we're trying to help them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for that, and I didn't realize they were being cut out of security jobs because of that, so.
Yeah,
uh,
okay.
What you got now?
Okay, the other, last item has to do with receiving the agenda by email. Or, I think, I forgot how many pages it would have been to run off on my printer this week, if I'd have been able to download everything and print it, all right? Well, you know, I don't mind doing it, but is the city gonna buy me some paper? Are they gonna buy me some printer's ink for my printer, and so on, you know? Or can we just buy everybody an iPad there and they just, she can send everything to the iPad and we're all in good shape?
Nice.
Huh? I know
It's
that.
nice.
Well, that is one of the things that we put in the budget for trying to get, to advance the program. That fits in with the monitor up
Yeah.
above there, all that is something that we've tried, that we've all discussed about putting in the budget for this current year. And we, I think during that discussion, we even said it would be unfair to require somebody to buy an iPad so that they could be on the city council. So it's one of the costs that we have to consider as an issue with this.
But it would be a city's iPad, it would be
Yeah.
turned back in
The city, yeah.
at the end of service.
And so I'm looking at what, probably $600 for an
That's what it,
iPad,
that's what
probably,
it is. Wi-Fi.
for 10 of them or whatever, so it's $6,000.
I think we allotted.
And I wouldn't need one, you know, and folks got when they bring theirs.
For the 16.
What about, one of the other ones that's cheaper than iPads?
Oh, yeah, we can, look at the off-brand one, all you gotta have is access to internet,
I think
email.
it's all, it's just so we get part of the same system.
Yeah.
Again, it's, the only reason I said the Apple system, Apple TV, it's easier to set up, it's, you know, that's,
We didn't hurt at some point, but we just keep the process.
You get some price on it, it'll be done next company.
But I mean, I'm not saying just because
I'm
I
not
got
saying we gotta
Windows 8.
go to
it's not
do it.
compatible
No,
with
we
anything in the
we'll
world.
get a price on it.
Versus paper.
tonight, it was all here.
Yeah.
Well,
Instead of
actually,
having to go
before I
through that.
came to the meeting, I was looking at prices of the iPad for this
Let's get the
reason,
prices up.
Okay.
you know, and I'm trying to determine whether I want an iPad or a
Well, I know other cities just use iPad,
Yes.
you know, rather than email and all this stuff back and forth. They did, she sends it to the
Yes.
Wi-Fi or whatever, however that works anyway.
They actually do it by, they send it to an email on that
On
iPad.
that iPad,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's how this one's done, it's just
That's how
anything you want. All right, Mr. Wither, you got
Can I
anything?
have one more thing?
Yes, sir, please.
Did Steve Williams retired? Did we do anything or are we gonna do anything for him?
We are,
We are?
yes, sir.
Okay,
I wanted to wait till the next meeting coming up.
okay, that's fine.
Yes, 34 years working there, and his last day was Friday. Okay, let me run through some items real quick. Downtown Fall in the Arts, you all prepared, ready for all that? Everything good as far as roadblocks and,
Lieutenant Grove came down today and asked us if we were gonna provide the barricades, but I reminded him that Chief Payne purchased $1,800 worth of barricades for that purpose today.
so we got everything squared away. FYI, or if there's any objections, please let me know. Crystal and myself, we've been going through some old records and files at City Hall. We're gonna see what we need to keep and what we need to discard. But we did find a treasure of, old city building plans. And what would like to see happen to those plans is don't loan them over to the county museum, but they'll probably take care of them. And historical. There's plans of the old swimming pool. you know, the old above-ground swimming pool, all the plans for it, and anything that you think of that's city-related, there's plans down there. Sewer lines and various old historic documents, they're just gathering dust in the clerk's office. So I'm just gonna give those to them. And anybody else got anything else? Yes, sir.
Johnny, how many of the, cars are not being used, the older ones,
We got 3.
at all?
That's 3 that's available for the part-time people to come in. As far as, not being used, I think we got some, maybe some bids on some of the old ones that may have come in. Most of them are already gone.
Okay.
Anything else? One final note, Lisa, this is her last council meeting with us. She's been here, I know, 3 years, probably 4, 3. And so I just want to tell you thank you for not only what you do here in the council meeting, getting it out to the public, but also anytime we had some good news, all you were a phone call away and you reported it. Didn't always dwell on the negative, it was good news too, we appreciate that, we really do.
I've enjoyed working with all of you, I really do, and I wish you all the best of luck.
Yes, ma'am. She's gonna be retiring out Friday, so she's a short timer too.
I'm looking forward to it.
Good. Anything else before we close the meeting? Meeting adjourned.